Well, hello internet friends and frenemies and enemies. I've got a video here. It'll probably run long. I've told the story a couple of different attempts on occasions and it just runs too long, so I'll try to cut it down short. It may be choppy and a little bit like chasing rabbits, but here we go. There's a lot of shenanigans going on in Wall Street, in the economy. And it's been bad for years and it's just getting worse. So take Windows 11 as an example. Windows 11 is supposed to have new features and things that people love, but it seems the more we learn about it, the more the features seem to be for Microsoft and big business and not so much for us. People aren't adopting it. So how do you get people to adopt Windows 11? It's pretty simple. You force end of life on Windows 10 and then they won't be able to do that anymore. You won't get the support. And so that's how we boost the sales of Windows 11, which was released in 2022. So it's 2 years old and people aren't liking it. So we're going to discontinue that. Take that same philosophy and look at NVIDIA. All this billions and trillions of dollars going into AI, and AI is not paying off. I think we might be headed for an AI bust that will rival the .com bust because people aren't liking it and they've developed a negative taste in their mouth over AI. So it's not going over well. NVIDIA, I'm told, has got yet the next generation past the 40 series available that they're working on, and that got very cold reviews. But they still spent the money. They're going to want that money back. And the 40 series were ridiculously expensive compared to what most people's opinions are. They don't have $2,000 for a water block 4090, and they don't have $1,000 for the others. And so it just gets down there. What are they using? They're still buying things like this, which is a 3060. Now, my old card was a 1050 Ti, so it's way old and it works okay. I'm not having any trouble. It's just hardware is dated in my old machine. And Microsoft tells me my machine is too old to be updated to the new feature-filled Windows 11, which I don't necessarily want, but I do use it to do videos, to edit videos. And it needs a pretty hefty processing side to do the editing and a pretty hefty graphic side, GPU, to do the compilation or the production of the actual bits, where it's running those rasterization of the multiple layers. So I tried to patch my old machine while I build a custom loop machine that is already ridiculously expensive with top tier fans, top tier case, top tier rads in that thing, and water loop is going to be something. I'm just waiting on Arrow Lake, the new chip from Intel, the new platform. I want to get a motherboard that's on for the new platform so it can make use of the new PCIe and the direct control off of the processor, which the new socket's going to have. They tell us probably new chipsets to go with it, and that stuff's just not available. I don't know when it's going to come. So I'm trying to patch the old machine, and I have just ended up replacing everything in the old computer that was temporary except for the case itself and one fan, because I've got a motherboard and a 12th gen processor coming Saturday, and I'll build that up. Now, complications. In the process, we hear rumors that NVIDIA, the new chip, is kind of coldly received. People aren't buying the 40 series because they cost too much. And why is that? Because people are buying those 30 series. How do you solve buying the 30 series problem? Well, you apparently announced to manufacturers that end of life is coming for the 30 series, and they ain't gonna be making no more of those 30 60s, those 30 70s, 80s, whatever they are, no TIs, no supers. They're going to cut that off, which will then force people to buy the 40 series that's already out, that they need to recoup all that development costs and all that stuff out of it. So I started to get I was looking at getting a 4070 Super. It's an expensive card, and then water blocking it, but I can't test it to even see if it could be defective. Rare, I'm sure, but it could be defective, but I can't test it on anything because I can't power anything, which gets me to the power supply that we're going to review to some extent. Now, I don't go through all of it. I'll tell you this. You don't have your ketchup and mustard cables, as people like to call it, but they're not sleeved either. They're ribbon cables. And I'm not a real big fan of that, but it's cheaper than sleeving and doing individual wires. What I needed is connectors to go to the video cards. My 1050 Ti doesn't need it. And I'm going to tell you that 1050 is way overclocked and really doing a good job, but it only has like 750, 780 cores. That 3060 that I bought has got about 5 times those number of cores, so it should help in the hardware acceleration. The problem is it's PCIe 3, and so it's running in 8-bit mode in this box. Now, even to power it, that needs a new power supply, and that's where we get right now. I have to buy a new power supply just to test the series, and if it doesn't make a big difference on the new motherboard that's coming with the 12th gen processor, it may not be worth spending the big bucks to water block a 40 series card. And I want to know this before we reach end of production for the 30 series. I may just get maybe a 3080 Ti or something something for it, and water block it and skip the 40s altogether. I don't ray trace, I don't play games, I don't use shaders, none of the software, none of that stuff matters to me. It might to you, but it won't to me. So let's look at the kind of cell phone shots as I put this board together. I'll explain to you what I did like and what I don't like about this power supply, so it may save you some trouble if you want to buy one. So let's go get it. If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. And here is a gratuitous "it's wrecked" shot. Actually, I had to drop the motherboard to get the power supply out. The bad. Now with this power supply, it does give you 4 SATA connectors, but this one's in the wrong spot. It doesn't help. I need to hit the Blu-ray burner up top for backups, and I need to be able to hit the 2 hard drives down below, the solid state drives, but I also need one down here in the drive bay in one of the 3 positions to hit the old spinny disc. This is an insulation displacement connector. It's 4 wires, and you see when I flip it over, the white indicates what side I need to put the connector back and in what orientation. Now here we see the left very-most wire, there's nothing in there. That's the one that has the polarization tab. So now I can see exactly how I need to put this back in there, but down there by the drive bays, I'll have to repair the insulation at the wire using a little tape, split the wire, and just wrap it around each one of them just in case we have a problem with where the connector used to be. I'll snap the cover back on and we should be good to go as long as I keep orientation. The good. Now this power supply does have some good things about it. I like the 6+2 is what I bought for this 3060 here. Now it works well. It needs an 8-pin power connection, which is a PCIe +2 or an 8-pin connector. Now with the 6-pin connector +2, I can use standard PCIe just fine and use the +2 if I needed the 8 pins. But what is bad about this is I don't have 2 6+2 cables in this power supply. I only have 2 6+2 connectors on one set of wires, which means if I needed PCIe somewhere else on the motherboard, the birthing person board, I'm sorry, it would not be possible. That's a bad thing with the two 6+2s, but it's good that it will hit multiple types of video cards, like this 3060 here. Plenty of power. Now the power supply itself is plenty big in wattage. The old 500 was big enough for anything I needed, but I didn't have the connectors. Now for the last thing we have to do is go back up here where the insulation displacement connector was connected and just take a little 33 plus good Scotch tape and fix those individual wires where the insulation was violated. Alright, so that's the video. Didn't take that long to show you. I didn't show you unscrewing the old power supply, taking everything out and rerouting the stuff. It went in pretty normally. I just had the little problems. It's a low end. I'm not dissing it when I say, but it's a low end. It's a budget. It's a wired. It's not a hybrid of modular and wired. It's just as basic as you can go power supply, and it should be okay for this old machine. Now what I do like about modular power supplies is there is a possibility, I haven't seen any, but I imagine if you've got the plug-ins that you have the ability of in the future plugging in different cables if they should exist and you should need them. Somebody will probably provide them. Appreciate you watching. Click like, subscribe. Drop me a comment if you've ever just started a little project trying to nurse it a little bit at a time over a period of a month or so and ended up probably with where you're going to end up at anyway, which is to replace the machine. I just got stuck halfway through. I don't know when Arrow Lake's coming out and the new stuff, so I don't know. It might be delayed a year. I don't know. I don't know why it would, but it's just a possibility. At least I'm going to get through this and I'll find a purpose for this. I may leave it down here in the studio and just have, of course, the editor up there on the second floor. Appreciate you. See ya.